Well, today we're here to let you know that we are working on Capitol Hill to let the people vote. That's why we're here. We want to make sure that the constitutional right that has been guaranteed all of us under the United States Constitution, under the Texas Constitution, is made available for people in our district and all across the state of Texas and the United States of America to have a voice in their democracy. That's what democracy is about. It is a democratic form of government. And the way you do that is you don't put roadblocks in the way of persons trying to cast a vote or to have a say in the democracy in which they live. You make sure that those rights are preserved for they be able to make the choices of their desire. Persons that they want to represent them in whatever form of government, local government, state government, or national government. And we're here to make sure that our constituents' rights are preserved and not stripped away. And that's the fight to let the people vote.
Awesome. Do we want to go straight into questions?
Please.
Wonderful. If anyone has any questions, you guys can either unmute and ask the group or an individual directly, or you can drop it into the chat.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's Mario Diaz. I'm not there this week. I saw everyone there last week. First off, is the plan still to remain through until August 6th to that Friday, and then and see what happens there? And how has that strategy changed in terms of attempting to convince senior federal leadership with regards to the initiatives that the party's putting forth to try to achieve here in Texas?
Gene?
So Mario, listen, today we met with the deputy whip of the House, Jane Clyburn. We've met with federal officials up and down the ranks. We've met with Vice President Harris. Tomorrow we might have a meeting with some of the Harris County congressional delegation. We have meetings set up, possibly I have meetings set up with Representative Grace Ming and a few other Asian American representatives. We're going to keep meeting people, Democrats and Republicans, because our goal here is not just to make sure that this bill that negatively affects our community's ability to vote, but we're also here to change the story, to change the narrative, to move the needle on passing national legislation that protects all Americans, Democrats, Republicans, Texans, everyone. That is our goal. We're doing it. We've already started. We are going to be successful because we've already done what we set out to do in Washington, D.C. We're just keeping going. We're just racking up more and more, because our goal here is to drive the national conversation and keep this in the news, to keep this discussion going so that we protect every single American's right to vote and vote fairly.
Have you been able, or has any member of the committee been able to, as you indicated, Representative Wu, and hey, Representative Reynolds, I saw that you just joined, you talk about moving the needle. Is there anything from across the aisle that you have seen that says, okay, well, we're starting to have people listen to what we're trying to do here?
No, absolutely. We're trying to set up meetings with Republicans. We're hoping they're willing to listen to us, because much of what we're talking about, including putting every single state into pre-clearance, is going to benefit Republicans as well, because Republicans, they get penalized in blue states, just as Democrats get penalized in red states. We want all Americans.
This meeting is being recorded.
To vote to be fair. And we want all of their rights to vote to be protected.
Talk about the situation back here at home. I know last week I spoke with some of the representatives there about the specter of getting arrested back here in Texas. Is that concern still on the mindset of representatives in DC?
No, nobody's afraid of getting arrested. And if they want to arrest them, let them bring it on. We're ready to go to jail. This fight for the freedom to vote, the constitutional right to vote in America is worth going to jail for.
Yeah.
And if they want to go that step further to put us in jail because we stand on the rights guaranteed under the Constitution of the United States of America and Texas, then I am ready to be arrested.
Same here.
I see that everyone's wearing a mask right now. Thank you for that response, Ms. Thompson. I see everyone's wearing a mask right now.
Yes.
And obviously there's been some diagnosis of some COVID cases within the delegation. First off, how surprised are you that there has been these challenges in terms of COVID diagnoses that have popped up within the delegation, considering that I suspect that everyone has been vaccinated or many have been vaccinated?
Hi, this is Rep. Theory. I'll take that one. We're not surprised. We believe the reason that we've been able to diagnose and find out that we have positives in our group is because we've been so responsible by testing constantly. Keep in mind, from the very beginning, the CDC always stated that the vaccines would not necessarily prevent anyone from catching COVID, but what it would do, and what's been proven with our group, is that it would prevent people from needing hospitalizations and becoming extremely ill. The latest update we'll share with you is that those of us who did test positive are doing very well. They have very, very mild symptoms, and some members have 0 symptoms. So the only reason we even know that they had COVID-19 is because the Texas House of Democrats lived up to our word and has always been very, very prudent and proactive in testing. And so we're just going to encourage people to please get vaccinated. Please, we have a very low vaccination rate in the state of Texas. We're calling on the governor to start putting more resources out there to encourage Texans to get vaccinated.
Representative, though, considering the numbers that we've heard in the past, that it was 95% effective and then 96% effective, we're talking about several cases from within a small group that really don't reflect that 95, 96% number. Was that shocking for the group at all?
Well, I'm
Actually,
not sure
I'd like
that
to
it
speak
said
to that.
95%. Go ahead. I don't think it said 95% effective from actually from being diagnosed. It was that there would be breakthrough cases. We know we're dealing with a variant. And so those initial numbers came out against the original COVID-19. Now we have different variants out. So it is a very small group, but I always say I wouldn't be surprised right now if you were to walk into any grocery store and pull over 100 people who all are vaccinated and test them. I would imagine there would be some significant positives. But at the same time, the good news is most of those people would be feeling very well.
There's been some new mask guidance that's come out from the American Academy of Pediatrics. The governor said no school can mandate masks. Considering everything that you're experiencing in DC and what's been happening here of late, what's the position for the caucus?
Well,
Take that one.
What's the position for what?
Mask up. Should school?
I know, but I didn't.
There's a new mask guidance. There's a new mask guidance, everyone, from the American Academy of Pediatrics.
wait, Mario, we're not pediatricians. We're not doctors. All we know is how we protect ourselves, how to protect the people around us. So we're going to do what's responsible, which is testing every single day and wearing our mask whenever we're indoors. That's it. This is what we think is responsible, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Just had a quick question following up on something that Mario had asked. This is Jasper with the Houston Chronicle. Kind of just trying to figure out what the next few weeks are going to look like for you guys. I mean, you've already met with the vice president, Whip Clyburn, some other top officials. Are you going to try to continue to hold meetings with elected officials and other stakeholders and try to continue to sway public opinion, or you kind of met with everyone you really can at this point? I mean, just give us a sense of what the next few weeks are going to look like.
So Jasper, I know that a number of us on this call have continued to set up appointments with elected officials and advocates in DC and beyond, and those meetings are continuing. Of course, we're making steps as we are following the CDC guidelines to ensure that just as we've been following those practices for masking or being outdoors, or doing our negative test. We're going to meet with many people virtually, and then we'll continue to make the steps going forward. I think Representative Chairwoman Thompson talked about the fact that this is a long-term commitment to our presence being here and moving the needle on this discussion. And so even through this moment, we are still staying very active and engaged virtually and continuing to build kind of this momentum on meeting with us here.
Got it. Thank you.
And just to add to that, this is Representative Penny Shaw from Houston, District 148, Mario. This week, to answer your question more directly and to add on to what my colleague Ann Johnson just said, we have pending meetings with Senator Murkowski and Senator Toomey.
Hi, my name is Kyra Buckley. I'm from Houston Public Media. Thanks so much for the time today. And I just got a note from my editor asking about some folks that are coming back to the state of Texas. We've heard that Harold Dutton has come back to Austin. I'm wondering if anybody can confirm that and if there's any comment. Thanks.
No, I mean, we're aware that Armando Wally here, we're aware that Chairman Dutton's back. We don't have any other further comment.
He was not a part of our original.
We never counted him.
Yeah, he was not included in our original, what, 57, that 57. So, yeah, that came here. He didn't sign on to the original letter. So we're very confident that we remain strong and united. Your very first question, I wanted to comment. And so we are prepared to stay the course. And if that date is August 7th, that's the commitment I made to my constituents. And I feel confident that my other colleagues have planned on honoring that commitment. So August 7th is the day that we are prepared to stay. We consider this the third quarter of a basketball game, and our knees are not going, they may be tired, but we're not going to quit.
And I just wanted to stress one thing to make it clear. This is Ron Reynolds from District 27. The fact is, our caucus believes in science. We believe in the vaccines, and for all of the misinformation that has been disseminated about the efficacy of vaccines, it is false. We urge people to get vaccines. 100% of our caucus is fully vaccinated. And we want to stress that because of that, there was no, as Representative Theory pointed out, no hospitalizations, no major sicknesses. So we believe if we were not fully vaccinated, that probably wouldn't have been the case. All over this country, you were seeing a resurgence of hospitalizations and deaths. Those people overwhelmingly were not vaccinated. And so we don't want the message to be, well, they got vaccinated, they got COVID. Yes, that may be partially true, but the reality is that all of our colleagues, we've been in touch with them, we've seen them, they are doing fine. And so we don't want the message to be twisted because of the false conspiracy theories out there about vaccines. Vaccines work, and we believe in science. We're going above CDC guidelines. Technically, we don't have to do what we're doing in terms of all the great testing and the mask wearing, but we're going above what CDC guidelines are. So we're going to continue to be models for safety, and we want people to understand that we believe in science and we believe in vaccines.
Yeah, actually, I would like to piggyback on that if I might for a second, because, and I'm John Rosenthal, and I don't know how many of you know that I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. So I'm very data driven, very science oriented. And you all were talking about numbers before, and you kind of glossed over the fact that it's not just the 55 Democrats in the room. We got about a dozen staff with us. The 95% efficacy rate for the mRNA vaccines was on the original virus. And now we got a slew of variants, some of which are very infectious. And while the efficacy of the vaccines remains high, for us to be around 90-ish%, completely effective. And the truth is, we would be talking in higher numbers than that if we weren't testing every single member of this body every single day, because doctors are on, medical experts, infectious disease experts are on TV right now every day saying, if you're vaccinated, even if you're carrying a little virus, if you're not showing symptoms, you're probably not even infectious. So I believe that influences the CDC guidance on this. So all I'm saying is the vaccines are very effective. The numbers are right on the money, and the science is proving out like more precisely than most contrived experiments would. So that's why we're all healthy and fine. And like my brothers and sisters are saying, we are taking extra precautions to keep not only ourselves, but the people around us safe.
I'm sorry, just to follow up real fast on something I think Representative Shaw was saying before her feed kind of cut out. You were talking about maybe some upcoming meetings with senators. Was it Murkowski? Did you just want to finish that thought? I think you were starting to give some details.
Sure, it would. I was just adding on to what my colleague Ann Johnson was saying and giving some more details. We have 2 pending meetings this week, one with Senator Murkowski and one with Senator Pat Toomey.
Got it. Thank you. And I'm sorry, I just had one other question about, I think we were talking about how you guys are all prepared to stay, through August 6th if needed. And I think maybe it sounds like the decision hasn't been made yet, beyond that, what the plan would be. But I'm just wondering, one of my colleagues was talking to Representative Wu earlier today, I think about sort of some of you guys have, young children at home, like family members. Wondering if anyone else sort of has that same consideration, just, husbands, wives, young children who, once we reach August 6th, you might not want to stay beyond that. If anyone could kind of speak to that consideration.
I guess I want to clarify, just clarify the question though, staying beyond the first special session, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. Because the governor, and I guess the context there is that Governor Abbott has said he's obviously going to continue to call special sessions repeatedly. So that's why I ask.
So Jasper, our main goal right now is obviously, one, to amplify our message about, have a national awakening about voter intimidation, about the right to vote, about access to the franchise. That was always our number one goal. And I think we've done that. The second goal was obviously to kill the bill as it's drafted today in the special session, in the first called special session. And the only thing I would add to that would be that we're committed to this first special session. Governor has the authority to call us back as many times as he wants. We're concerned right now about the play at hand. We cannot, answer questions hypothetically on any second or third or fourth or fifth special session that he may or may not call. And so to the extent that, we're thinking about another special session, we will have another special session, and that will be on redistricting and on spending $16 billion in federal funds. And so beyond that, those 2 scenarios, I don't think that's fair to the membership to answer at this point.
Jasper, I do miss my wife. And I know that everybody on this call misses folks back home. But I think we also went into this knowing we were going to miss our families. And we knew that it was going to be a long commitment. But while I miss my family back home, my family is the reason that I'm here. Because I think about my family members, my nephews who have special needs and disabilities, and how the constant trickle of suppressing the vote is going to impact all of them. And so while we miss them, we are here because of them. And we are here with the support of all of them.
And I would just add that a lot of our businesses are idling right now because many of us are business owners, or we are trying to do our business remotely from a hotel room. And so that's another thing to take into consideration. All of us here have livelihoods that are also on hold right now for the most part.
Let me just add, Jasper, just to add more context. Of course, we miss our family, we miss our loved ones and the businesses that we have back home. That pales in comparison to the people like John Lewis, that actually got his skull cracked in on that Edmund Pettus Bridge. It doesn't compare to Rosa Parks being arrested. It doesn't compare to the many folks that we stand on their shoulders on. And so I don't think this is not This is not something that we've taken, this decision hasn't been taken lightly, absolutely not. But it pales in comparison, the missing of our family and our businesses, being back in the legislature, to the many folks that have bled and died to get access to the franchise. And what we're trying to do here in this in this effort is to preserve that and to not to roll back the clock. That's right. That's why we're here.
And the governor has always been privileged. He's been privileged not to have anything stripped away from his right to vote. And we want him to know that we would like to share the same opportunities that he's always shared by not having our right to vote, nor our constituents' right to vote stripped away as well.
And not only that, we're there for generations. We have not only children, I know we've talked about children, but I have grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So we're talking about generations of people who will not have an opportunity to vote or to exercise their right to vote. So we're talking long-term here. And so the commitment from us is deep and strong, and we will be here as long as we have to be here.
Well said.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take a picture real quick.
Yeah.
This is Justin with the Texas Observer. Just real quick, one question. Obviously, House Democrats were kind of instrumental in helping elect Jade Phelan as Speaker. Given all that's transpired from the end of the regular session into this special, at this point, what is the level of support, if any, that remains for the Speaker, and what is that relationship going to look like going forward?
I think the speakers had a better advantage to be able to discuss that with you than we are, because what our minds are centered on is letting the people vote.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you.
day.
Good job, guys.